Hey guys, tonight we slip into a Renaissance boudoir, thick with rose oil and scandal. The air is as dense as the velvet drapes, and each flicker of candlelight catches a glimmer of powder dust. You're here, standing in the sweetly cloying cloud of ancient perfumes and whispered promises. It's a world where beauty is both weapon and curse, where your reflection in the polished glass seems to promise something. If only you can keep your skin flawless and your scent enticing. You probably won't survive this. This isn't bedtime history. This is confession. And once you've heard it, you can't unhear it. So, before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. And hey, let me know in the comments, where in the world are you listening from, and what time is it there? Midnight in Paris? 3 a.m. in Florence? I love seeing where you're joining from. Now, dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum, and let's ease into tonight's journey together. You're in the center of a small room, lit only by flickering beeswax candles. Their flames waver as you take in the glow of rose oil slicked skin and the rustle of silk underskirts. A courtesan stands before you, her eyes bright with both invitation and defiance. She's wrapped in layers of silk the color of bruised plums, and yet somehow you know these layers are not protection, but a stage for her performance. The scent of frankincense wafts through the air, masking the tang of sweat and the bitter residue of crushed herbs. Her hair is pinned high, tendrils slick with scented oils, and her fingers, delicate but stained faintly red from beetroot juice, flutter at her throat. Historians still argue whether these intense preparations were purely for male gaze or whether they were small rebellions, ways of controlling how they were seen. You watch her reach for a small glass vial. The light catches on the hand-blown Venetian glass, shimmering like liquid moonlight. She dips her fingers inside, dabbing a thin layer of something slick and sweet-smelling along her jawline. You catch a whiff of rose and myrrh, but underneath that, a hint of something metallic and sour. Lead, maybe. You swallow. She meets your gaze in the mirror and smiles a little too knowingly. A mainstream historical fact floats up in your mind. Venetian courtesans were not only lovers, but cultural icons, skilled in poetry, music, and politics. But you also remember the quirky tidbit. Some believed that the sheen of their skin was a sign of otherworldly charm, almost a spell cast by beauty itself. The mirror is no modern glass. It's polished silver, and it throws back your image as if it were from another world. You see yourself there too. Breath fogging in the candlelight, fingers itching to try the same alchemical potions. The courtesan catches your gaze, and without words, you understand that here, your skin is your currency. She gestures to a low stool, and you sink down, your knees brushing the cool stone floor. From the folds of her skirts, she produces a tiny cloth-wrapped bundle. Inside, a jumble of roots and dried petals. She crushes them between her palms, the scent of lavender and rosemary mingling with the faint funk of goat milk. Her movements are slow, deliberate, and a little mocking, like she knows you'll never fully understand this ritual. As the mixture brews, she hums a tune, old as the city itself. You think you hear a phrase in the song, something about how beauty fades, but rumor endures. The words slip away before you can catch them. A tiny joke flickers in your mind, like she's got a medieval TikTok tutorial going. But instead of filters and ring lights, it's goat milk and lead-based powders. She leans in closer, breath warm against your cheek, and dabs the mixture across your forehead. It's shockingly cool, like spring water in winter, and you almost shiver. The smell of lavender is overpowering, but there's an undertone you can't place. Maybe it's the scent of secrets. She presses the cloth into your hand and whispers, "Keep this close. Tomorrow, you'll need it again." You watch her in the mirror as she rubs the last of the potion across her cheekbones. Her skin glows in the dim light, ethereal, fragile, and a little tragic. She meets your eyes one last time, and you swear there's a flicker of sadness there, like she knows this glow is fleeting, like she's already rehearsing the end of the story. The flickering candles throw everything into soft focus. You lean back against the cold wall, and for a moment, you let yourself be hypnotized by the swirl of rose oil and shadows. It's a world of fleeting illusions, but for tonight, you're here, breathing it all in. You blink, and the world shifts just slightly. The glow of the candles flickers, and the courtesan's movements slow, as if she's slipping into another rhythm entirely. She's reaching for a small, worn wooden box now, its corners rounded by years of careful handling. She flips the latch and reveals a set of powders, delicate mounds of color that catch the lamplight like crushed gemstones. You lean closer, and she taps her finger against one of the powders, a soft, dusty white that looks almost innocent. "Venetian ceruse," she murmurs, tracing a small circle on her wrist. "White lead. You don't want to know what it does to your blood." Her voice is light, but there's a hint of something darker underneath. You're about to learn firsthand how beauty can kill as easily as it can captivate. She mixes the powder with a drop of rosewater, swirling it into a thick, creamy paste. You watch her spread it across her cheekbones, the paste brightening her skin like moonlight trapped in a jar. Historians still argue whether this deadly concoction was worth the risk, if the women who used it truly believed it was harmless, or if they accepted the cost for the brief, radiant glow. A mainstream historical fact flickers in your mind. Venetian ceruse was so prized that it was exported throughout Europe, known as the spirits of Saturn. It smoothed the skin, blurred the imperfections, but it also seeped into the blood, causing headaches, tremors, and worse. You wonder how many women smiled through that ache, refusing to let their fear show. The courtesan tilts her head, appraising her reflection. "Too much?" she asks, though you both know the answer doesn't matter. The point isn't to look natural. It's to dazzle, to seduce, to survive. She dusts a bit of carmine rouge across her lips, the deep red like a tiny drop of spilled wine. You're mesmerized by the transformation, how the powders don't just paint her face, but build an armor of desire and mystery. She dabs at your face next, the brush soft but insistent. The scent of crushed roses is overpowering, and there's a faint, metallic tang beneath it that makes your stomach flip. "Don't flinch," she murmurs. "The glow demands sacrifice." It's almost funny, like a Renaissance skincare influencer, but with a lot more arsenic and zero disclaimers. She smooths the carmine across your cheeks, and for a moment, you catch a glimpse of yourself in the silver mirror. Your face is paler than usual, your lips red as a cardinal's robe. You're a ghost in candlelight, and yet you feel more alive than ever. The powder itches a little, a faint warning that this beauty isn't meant to last. You watch her cap the box of powders with a sigh, as if she's sealing away a secret she's grown weary of. She turns to you, her eyes sharp. "Beauty is fleeting," she says softly. But it's the only coin we have in this world. You wonder how many times she's spoken that line, or if she truly believes it herself. There's a small copper pot bubbling on the hearth, a thin wisp of steam curling into the air. She lifts the lid, revealing a concoction of beeswax and animal fat, tinged with crushed pearl for that dewy sheen. She dips her fingers in, smoothing it across your forehead and the curve of your chin. The warmth of it seeps into your skin, the scent of honey and herbs making your head spin. A quirky historical tidbit emerges in your thoughts. Some believed that the glow of lead-based makeup was a mark of noble blood, a sign that you were too delicate to work or sweat. You wonder if that's true, or just another pretty lie. The courtesan leans back, studying you. Now you look like you belong, she says. Her smile is small and a little sad. You feel a pang of something. Pity, maybe, or the cold realization that this glow comes at a steep price. You shift under her gaze, but she just pats your shoulder gently. You'll get used to it, she says, though you're not sure that's something to celebrate. She brushes a stray hair from your forehead, her fingertips surprisingly soft. Or maybe you won't. Either way, you're in it now. You glance back at the powders, at the little pots of paint and poison lined up like soldiers. It's all so beautiful, so heartbreakingly beautiful. And yet, you can't shake the thought that this glow isn't meant to last. Like a flame in the wind, it burns bright, then disappears without a trace. The candles flicker, casting long shadows on the walls. The room smells of rose oil and melted beeswax, a perfume that's both comforting and a little suffocating. You close your eyes and take a slow breath. The weight of the powders on your skin, a reminder of how thin the line is between allure and ruin. For now, you're here, caught in the glow. Tomorrow, that's another story. The candles flicker lower, the shadows lean longer, and the courtesan's room seems to exhale around you. She leans over her silver mirror, peering into it as if it were a portal, one that might show not just her face, but her fate. You inch closer, drawn by the glint of curiosity in her eyes. The mirror itself is a marvel, polished silver so finely burnished it reflects the glow of candles like a pool of moonlight. You see yourself there, but softer, more distant, like you're peeking into a world just beyond reach. Mirrors were rare treasures in Renaissance households, a luxury of glass or polished metal, never quite as clear as our modern glass, but all the more captivating for the mystery. She tilts the mirror in her hands, catching the light, letting it play across her skin. This mirror, she says softly, is as much alchemy as it is reflection. Historians still argue whether these polished mirrors were purely for vanity, or if they served as charms, small pools of magic to capture a soul's glow. You decide it's a bit of both. The courtesan dips her fingers into a small clay pot. Inside, a paste of crushed sage and powdered myrrh, thick and pungent. She smears it carefully across her forehead and temples, the scent sharp and earthy. This keeps the skin clear, she whispers, though you suspect it also keeps her spirit calm. The Renaissance was as much about superstition as it was about science. You watch her mouth curve into a faint, knowing smile. A quirky tidbit rises in your mind. Some alchemists swore that ground pearls and powdered coral mixed with rose oil could stave off the touch of time itself. You can almost see the glimmer of those crushed pearls in her skin. Do you believe in magic? She asks lightly. But there's a weight to the question. You hesitate, caught between the sparkle of the mirror and the ache of your own skin under the lead-laced paste. She doesn't wait for an answer. "Neither do I," she murmurs, "but I believe in the glow." She leans forward, close enough that you catch the faint scent of cloves on her breath. She traces a finger along your jaw, as if testing the texture of your skin. The mirror reflects both of you, two figures suspended in a haze of candlelight and scented smoke. She reaches for a tiny bottle, clear glass, stoppered with wax. "This is no mere potion," she says, the faintest tease in her voice. "It's a secret." She unstoppers it, and the scent that wafts out is like nothing you've ever smelled. A sharp sweetness layered over something darker, almost like the scent of rain on warm stones. A mainstream historical fact comes to mind. Renaissance alchemists were as much showmen as scientists. Their secret recipes, unguents, perfumes, powders, were whispered about in hushed circles, rumored to grant eternal youth or everlasting passion. In truth, most were mixtures of herbs, minerals, and wishful thinking. The courtesan dabs a bit of the liquid on your wrist. It tingles, cool, and slightly astringent. "It's rosewater and vinegar," she says, almost laughing at your cautious sniff. "Not exactly the elixir of life, but it brightens the skin." She tips the bottle back and forth, watching the light play through the liquid. "Here," she says, handing you the mirror. It's heavier than you expect, the cool metal biting into your palms. You stare into it, and for a moment, you're not sure what you see. Your own face, or the face you might one day wear if you keep borrowing her potions and paints. The courtesan stands behind you now, her hands resting lightly on your shoulders. Her fingers are cold, but her voice is warm as she hums a tune you half remember. She begins to weave a ribbon of silk through your hair, pulling it back from your forehead, smoothing it into a style that flatters the sharpness of your cheekbones. The Renaissance believed in balance. Symmetry was beauty, and she knows exactly how to frame your face. A small, mischievous grin tugs at her lips. "You're almost ready," she says, though you're not sure for what. The mirror, the pastes, the powders, they're all part of a transformation, one that feels as fleeting as a breath. You catch a glimpse of the silver mirror again, propped carefully on the wooden vanity. In its depths, you see the dance of light and shadow, the faint shimmer of crushed pearls, and the gentle glow of rose oil. You wonder how many faces it has captured over the years, how many whispered secrets it has held. She leans closer to the mirror, her breath fogging the polished surface. "Beauty," she says softly, "is the closest thing we have to immortality." It's a line that sounds like a prayer and a warning all at once. You feel the weight of the mirror in your hands, the promise of alchemy, and the quiet threat of ruin. For a moment, you let yourself believe. Let yourself sink into the reflection, the glow of rose oil, and the cold kiss of silver. Then the moment fades, the candles flicker low, and you're left with the weight of the mirror and the quiet promise that nothing gold can stay. Before we go on, take a breath. This next part might feel surprisingly close to home. The candlelight dances lower, and the air grows thicker with rose oil and stories. The courtesan moves again, her feet bare against the cold stone floor. She crosses to a copper basin, steam curling from it like a phantom in the half-light. You hear the faint trickle of water, the slap of wet cloth against porcelain skin. She dips a cloth in the basin, wringing it out with slow, practiced hands. The scent of goat milk hits you first, earthy, musky, richer than you'd ever expect. A bath in perfume, she says with a half smile. It's the only luxury worth the trouble. She lifts the cloth to your neck, dabbing at your skin with a touch so gentle it's almost an apology. The water is warm, edged with crushed rose petals and a thin drizzle of honey. The cloth glides across your skin, leaving a slick sheen of sweetness in its wake. You can't help but breathe deeper, the heady scent mingling with the air in your lungs. Historians still argue whether these milk baths were purely for the glow, or if they were also an offering, a daily ritual that blurred the line between worship and self-preservation. A mainstream historical fact settles in your mind. Goat milk was prized in Renaissance beauty for its supposed power to soften skin and lighten it just enough to chase away the burn of sun and sweat. But there's a fringe tidbit too. Some believed that milk carried the essence of the moon, a pale liquid that whispered of purity and secret pleasures. The courtesan doesn't speak as she bathes you, the warm cloth moving in small circles that feel more intimate than a confession. Her eyes stay fixed on the task, but every now and then you catch the glimmer of amusement in their depths. Maybe she's laughing at your caution, or maybe she's remembering her first milk bath, how she once flinched at the thought of goat milk and now finds it as natural as breath. She dips the cloth again, squeezing it out with a flick of her wrist that sends droplets shimmering in the candlelight. We bathe in perfume because it's the only armor we have, she says finally. The scent clings to your skin long after the bath fades. She wipes your brow, her touch tender and precise. A small wooden dish sits beside the basin, filled with crushed petals, rose, lavender, and a few flecks of something that looks like gold. She sprinkles a pinch into the bath, the water swirling into pinks and reds that seem almost too pretty to waste on skin. This is luxury, she says, and there's a note of defiance in her voice, as if she's daring anyone to call it frivolous. She dips your hands into the water next, letting the heat seep into your bones. The petals cling to your fingers, soft as a sigh, and for a moment you feel like you've slipped into another century entirely. She rubs a bit of the rose-honey mixture into your knuckles, her own hands stained faintly red from the petals. A faint smile plays at the corners of her mouth. "They'll never tell you," she murmurs, "but every courtesan has a favorite petal. Mine is rose. It smells like secrets." She glances up at you, her eyes twinkling with mischief. "What about you?" she teases. You shrug, the question too big to answer when your senses are already so full. She leans in, close enough that you can see the faint sheen of sweat on her forehead. "Remember," she says, her voice low and even, "this bath isn't just for the skin, it's for the spirit. You wash away the day and start again." You wonder if that's really true, or if it's just another story she's learned to tell. The cloth moves to your shoulders, the gentle pressure, almost hypnotic. You feel your muscles melt under her touch, the warmth of the milk and the faint tickle of petals against your skin. She hums again, the melody as old as the city's walls, and for a moment, you let the sound wrap around you like the water itself. A small joke flickers in your mind, like an ancient spa day, but with more goat milk and fewer disclaimers. You almost laugh, but the courtesan's steady touch keeps you grounded. Her hands are sure, her movements careful, and in this small act of cleansing, you feel the weight of centuries lift away. She finally pulls back, dropping the cloth into the basin with a soft splash. "There," she says, studying you with a critical eye. "You're clean enough for any court in Florence, or any scandal." Her words are light, but you hear the edge of something deeper in them, the quiet knowledge that no bath, no matter how sweet, can wash away the world outside these walls. You close your eyes, letting the warmth seep deep into your bones. And for a heartbeat, you believe in the power of the bath, in the promise that for tonight, at least, you're safe in this glow of rose oil and goat milk. You shiver as the air cools around you, goosebumps rising under the thin sheen of honey and milk. The courtesan steps back, her eyes searching your face as if she's reading a map of desires and doubts. Her fingers brush a stray petal from your shoulder, a soft, fleeting touch that feels more like a promise than an accident. She turns to a small table where delicate glass jars rest like captured starlight. Each one is filled with a different cream, each shade of ivory or pale pink a testament to the quiet, dangerous luxury of beauty. Venetian glass, hand-blown and impossibly fragile, glints in the candlelight. You catch your breath, the air sweet with rose oil and the faint, sharp tang of something metallic. She picks up one jar, its lid sealed with a waxy crest. "Lead white," she says quietly, almost reverently. It's the secret glow of every face you see at court. Historians still argue whether the women of Florence knew how dangerous it was, or if they simply didn't care. The glow was worth the risk, even if it seeped into their blood. She scoops a small dollop of the creamy mixture, warming it between her fingertips before smoothing it across your cheek. The touch is gentle, almost tender, but you can't ignore the faint chill that rises in your spine. You remember that mainstream historical fact. Venetian ceruse was prized across Europe, a mark of refinement and wealth. But it also poisoned slowly, a bloom of sickness that started beneath the skin. The courtesan's face is a careful mask, the cream turning her features into a living painting. She studies her reflection in the silver mirror, her expression unreadable. "Beauty has always been a game of illusions," she says, "and illusions are worth their weight in lead." She reaches for a small pestle and mortar, grinding something pale and shimmering. Crushed pearl, you realize, ground so fine it's almost like dust. She mixes it into the lead paste, the pearlescent swirl catching the flicker of the candles. "This," she says softly, "is how you keep the glow from looking too dead. A bit of moonlight in the skin." A quirky historical tidbit floats to mind. Some women believed that the pearl's cool radiance would balance the fiery heat of their blood, a gentle lie they told themselves as the lead worked its silent magic. You wonder how many of them woke with shaking hands, blaming ghosts instead of the poison in their beauty. The courtesan applies the mixture to your skin, her movements slow and sure. The weight of the cream feels like a mask, cool and almost suffocating. You swallow hard, the taste of rosewater and metal lingering on your tongue. She hums a soft tune, the same one she used when she bathed you, and for a moment, it feels like she's weaving a spell around you both. She leans in close, her breath warm against your ear. "This glow," she whispers, "is what they'll remember. The softness of your skin, the way the light catches your cheekbones. It's all that matters. No one will care what lies beneath." Her words are a balm and a curse, and you feel them settle into your bones. A small, wry smile tugs at her lips. "Besides," she says, "everyone knows it's the courtesan's glow that outlasts the night." She straightens, her fingers brushing your jaw one last time before she turns away. She begins cleaning the tiny spatula she used to scoop the cream, her movements precise, almost ritualistic. You catch a glimpse of your reflection in the glass jars. A ghostly figure, face pale as the moon, lips touched with blood-red carmine. It's both beautiful and unsettling, a mask that promises everything and nothing at all. The courtesan meets your gaze again, her eyes flickering with something that might be pride or resignation. "Do you see it?" she asks softly. "The glow that's worth more than gold, but costs so much more." You nod, though the weight of the cream on your skin makes you feel as if you're nodding underwater. She sets the glass jar back on the table, her fingers lingering on its delicate curves. "Venetian glass," she murmurs, "as fragile as the women who use it. One crack, and it shatters, just like us." Her voice is calm, but there's a hint of something deeper there, a quiet knowledge that the glow is both armor and a prison. The candles gutter lower, the air thick with the scent of rose oil and the faint, metallic tang of lead. You close your eyes, feeling the weight of the mask, the chill of the glass jar, and the quiet promise of the courtesan's words. For tonight, the glow is yours, but you can already feel the price it will demand. The candle flames sputter in the heavy air, casting the courtesan's face in shifting gold and shadow. She steps back, surveying you with an artist's eye. "Not done yet," she says softly, though the glow of lead and pearl already makes your face as pale and smooth as moonlight on marble. She reaches for another small jar, this one carved from mother of pearl, the lid etched with curling vines. She opens it carefully, releasing a scent of lavender and beeswax. "A mask," she murmurs, "but not the kind you wear at carnival." She dips her fingers in, lifting out a thick, creamy paste the color of ivory. It glistens like a promise. You watch her smear it across your face, starting at the forehead, moving down in slow, deliberate strokes. The mask smells of herbs and something faintly medicinal. Historians still argue whether these masks were beauty treatments or something closer to a shield, protection against the city's foul air and the weight of curious eyes. She smooths the mixture over your skin, her touch careful but sure. The mask cools your skin like a midnight breeze, the scent of crushed thyme and rosemary mingling with the memory of rose oil. "This will set the glow," she says. "It hides the cracks in the paint." Her voice is almost gentle, but there's an edge of resignation to it, as if she's done this ritual 1,000 times and knows the fleeting power it grants. A mainstream historical fact drifts up. Renaissance courtesans used a bewildering variety of masks, from egg-white plasters to masks of bread soaked in milk and honey. Each one a promise of perfection, each one a silent prayer. But the quirky detail that makes you smile a little? Some even believed a mask made from fresh cow dung would tighten the skin and banish every blemish. You're grateful tonight's ritual smells more of thyme than of cow pastures. The courtesan leans in close, eyes half-lidded as she studies your face. "You look like a statue," she murmurs. "Untouchable. That's how they want you." Her words are almost lost in the hush of the room, but they sink deep, as heavy as the mask itself. You catch sight of yourself in the silver mirror, your face blanketed in white, eyes bright and strange. It's both comforting and unsettling, this mask of creamy paste and half-truths. You wonder if you'll recognize yourself when it's washed away. The courtesan hums a low tune as she works, a song that sounds like something you might hear drifting from the alleys of Florence late at night. Soft, haunting, tinged with longing. She dabs the last of the mask under your chin, her fingers gentle, and then steps back to admire her handiwork. She wipes her hands on a linen cloth, eyes glinting with a secret knowledge. "Let it dry," she says softly. "Let it crack if it must. The glow will stay behind, even when the mask falls away." You nod, though the weight of the mask makes it hard to move. A small smile flickers across her lips. "They never see the cracks," she says. "Only the glow." She turns away to gather a few dried herbs from a shelf. Sage, rosemary, a sprig of rue. She crushes them in her palms, the sharp scent filling the air. "These will chase away the ghosts," she murmurs, almost to herself. She tosses the herbs into the embers of the small brazier near the window. The crackle of flame, the soft hiss of green leaves burning, fills the room with the scent of summer gardens and old magic. You watch the smoke curl toward the ceiling, carrying with it a hint of something ancient and protective. The courtesan stands beside you, close enough that her shoulder brushes yours. "This is how we keep them out," she says, her voice low. "The spirits of doubt, of envy. Let them watch, but never touch." Her words are comforting in their conviction, even if you suspect they're more ritual than truth. You stand there, face masked and fragrant with herbs, feeling a strange calm settle over you. The mask is heavy, but it's also a shield, a momentary respite from the world outside. You let yourself sink into it, the softness of the linen against your shoulders, the crackle of the brazier, the faint, sweet scent of lavender and beeswax. A quiet joke hums in the back of your mind, like a Renaissance sleepover spa night, but with more lead and fewer cucumbers. The thought almost makes you smile, though the mask pulls at the corners of your mouth, reminding you that tonight, even your expression belongs to the glow. The courtesan places a hand on your shoulder, her fingers light but grounding. "Let it set," she says. "Let it harden. When it's time, we'll wash it away, and you'll see what's left." You nod, the weight of the mask an anchor, the scent of herbs a lullaby. For now, you're caught between worlds, your face a canvas of creamy white, your breath scented with thyme and rose. And in the flickering light of the candles, you almost believe this glow will last forever. The minutes slip by in the quiet of the room, the mask drying on your face, pulling your skin tight with each passing second. The courtesan's touch has left a faint trail of warmth along your shoulders, but now she's moved back, letting the mask do its work. She watches you with a faint smile, her own face bare of powders, but aglow with a confidence that feels just as carefully applied. She crosses to the table again, fingers deft as she selects another tiny jar. This one is black as night, etched with faint symbols that look like they could have come from some ancient grimoire. She opens it with a careful twist, and the scent that rises up is sharp, green, and slightly sinister. "Belladonna," she says in a soft voice, almost a caress. "Nightshade," the courtesan's kiss. She dips a slim brush into the jar, swirling the dark liquid. You swallow, the name sending a shiver up your spine. Historians still argue whether belladonna was truly the secret to the courtesan's allure, or just another rumor whispered by jealous tongues. All you know is that tonight, it's real. She brings the brush to your eyes, tracing the line of your lashes with a slow, steady hand. The liquid is cold against your skin, a delicate shiver of danger in the warmth of the candlelit room. "A drop or two," she murmurs, to make the eyes wide, the gaze soft. They'll never look away. A mainstream historical fact flickers in your mind. Belladonna was known to dilate the pupils, giving the eyes a dark, liquid glow that no man or woman could resist. But it wasn't just beauty, it was poison. The price of those velvet eyes was headaches, blurred vision, and sometimes worse. You wonder how many courtesans weighed the risk each night, holding a vial of belladonna in one hand and a mirror in the other, the choice as sharp as the brush she holds now. She steps back to admire her work, the faintest grin at the corner of her mouth. "There," she says. A little danger makes the glow irresistible. She leans in, her breath warm as she whispers, "A secret, sweet and sharp." Her fingers brush your cheek, and you swear you can almost feel the echo of centuries in that touch. A quirky detail comes to mind. Some believed that a mixture of belladonna and foxglove was the ultimate weapon of seduction, a drop of poison for the body, a flood of desire for the mind. You catch the faint glimmer of something playful in her eyes, as if she's daring you to believe it. She moves next to the small brazier, adding a pinch of dried rose petals to the embers. The smoke rises, fragrant and soft, wrapping around you like a lover's sigh. She stands there, her eyes half closed, breathing in the scent. "We scent the air too," she says. "The perfume of petals and poisons. It's all part of the glow." The mask on your face is hard now, tiny cracks forming along your temples. You feel each line, each fissure, like the story of your skin being rewritten in powder and paste. The courtesan watches you, her eyes bright and knowing. "The glow is a promise," she says softly. "A promise they'll chase, even when it's gone." She leans close, pressing her lips to your ear. "And it always fades," she whispers. But the memory never does. Her breath is warm and scented with honey and thyme, and for a moment, you almost believe her. She dips the brush into the belladonna again, tracing a line of black across your lids. The liquid dries fast, leaving your eyes darker, more mysterious. You blink once, twice, the world swimming just a little. She smiles. "Perfect," she says. "A touch of danger, a hint of mystery. That's the secret." You catch sight of yourself in the silver mirror, the glow of the lead cream, the dark ring of belladonna around your eyes. It's a face that doesn't belong to you, and yet feels so right, like you've stepped into a role that's older than the city itself. The courtesan sets the jar down carefully, the faintest clink of glass on wood. "The glow," she says again, almost to herself. It's the line between devotion and danger, between worship and ruin. She meets your gaze, and for a moment, there's no mystery, only the quiet truth that beauty has always been both a promise and a threat. The candles flicker, the scent of rose petals mingling with the sharp tang of belladonna. You close your eyes, feeling the weight of the mask, the brush of danger across your lashes, and in the quiet of the room, you understand. Tonight, the glow is yours. Tomorrow, that's another story entirely. The mask hardens, drawing your skin taut like the parchment pages of a long-lost book. The courtesan stands silent for a moment, her eyes reflecting the flickering candles, and then she smiles. A soft, secret smile that makes your chest tighten just a little. She moves to a small wooden cabinet near the hearth, the hinges creaking as she opens it. Inside are tiny glass bottles, lined up like soldiers, each filled with sticky, golden liquid. She lifts one, turning it in her hand so the light glints off the rich amber color. "Honey," she says softly, the glow's final touch. You watch as she unstoppers the bottle, the scent warm and sweet, like summer's breath. A mainstream historical fact floats to mind. Honey was a prized ingredient in Renaissance beauty, believed to soften lips, sweeten breath, and even heal small cuts and scrapes. But there's something deeper in this moment, a tenderness that cuts through the room's perfumed air. She dips her finger into the honey, the viscous liquid clinging to her skin. "Hold still," she murmurs, pressing it gently to your lips. The honey coats them in a sheen that catches the candlelight, a shimmer that promises both sweetness and seduction. "A courtesan's lips," she says, "must taste as sweet as her lies. You can't help the small smile that pulls at your mouth, sticky and slow." The glow, you think, is as much about allure as it is about survival. Historians still argue whether courtesans truly believed in the power of these rituals, or if it was just a part they played, another layer of the mask. The courtesan leans back, studying her work with the air of an artist perfecting a masterpiece. She dips a cloth into a small bowl of rosewater, wiping away the stray streaks of honey that glisten on your chin. The cloth is cool against your skin, a gentle relief after the heat of the fire and the sticky embrace of honey. A quirky, historical tidbit emerges in your thoughts. Some believed that honey itself was a love spell, that to taste it from a lover's mouth was to be bound to them forever. You wonder if the courtesan believes that, if each dab of honey on her lips is a tiny enchantment, a promise of devotion whispered in sweetness. She smiles again, eyes crinkling at the corners. "It's the small touches that matter," she says lightly. "The glow starts with the skin, but it ends at the mouth." She brushes a final touch of honey across your bottom lip, her fingertip lingering there just a heartbeat longer than it should. Then she steps back, her hands slipping into the folds of her skirts as if to hide their sudden stillness. The air is thick with rose and beeswax, with the promise of warmth and the hush of secrets. She walks to the window, pushing the heavy shutters open just enough to let in the cool night breeze. It carries the scent of damp stone and distant gardens, a gentle contrast to the room's stifling sweetness. She leans against the windowsill, eyes half closed. "They always come back for the glow," she says softly, as if to herself. "They chase it like a fever, never knowing how close it dances to ruin." Her voice is a soft song, a lullaby wrapped in the sharp edges of truth. She turns back to you, her eyes bright. "But tonight," she says, "you're the one they'll chase." She steps closer, pressing a small jar into your hand. Inside, a thick, sweet paste of honey and crushed rose petals. "Keep it with you," she says. "The glow doesn't last, but the memory does." You close your fingers around the jar, feeling its warmth, its quiet promise. The glow is yours tonight, but you already sense the weight of it, the price it demands in sleepless nights and quiet regrets. The courtesan touches your wrist, her fingers light, almost absent-minded. "A touch of sweetness," she says, "a balm for what comes next." The mask on your face has begun to crack, small fissures like tiny rivers across your skin. She doesn't seem to mind. If anything, her smile grows softer. "Let it break," she whispers. "The glow isn't in the mask. It's in the story it tells." The candlelight flickers, the honey on your lips sweet and a little sticky. You close your eyes, letting the scent of rose and night air wash over you. And for a moment, you almost believe that this glow is eternal, that it will last beyond the night, beyond the whispers, beyond the ruin it always carries in its wake. The mask on your face cracks and crumbles away with a soft sigh, the last flakes of white dusting your lap like snowfall in a silent forest. The courtesan wipes the remnants away with a damp cloth, her touch as soft as a lullaby. She hums a tune you don't recognize, something low and lilting that seems to catch the rhythm of your breathing. You blink at your reflection in the mirror, skin pale and glowing, lips shimmering with honey's sheen, eyes dark with the faint stain of belladonna. The mask is gone, but the glow lingers, like an echo in candlelight. Historians still argue whether these carefully painted illusions were armor or performance, whether they hid flaws or exposed secrets. The courtesan tilts your chin up with 2 fingers, studying your face with the sharp gaze of someone who's seen too many stories told in powder and paint. The glow is a promise, she says softly, her breath warm against your skin. But it's also a lie. Don't forget that. You catch a glimpse of yourself in the mirror, and for a heartbeat, you see not just your face, but every face that came before. Courtesans, who once danced these same steps, who once painted their lips and cheeks with the same feverish devotion. It's both comforting and unsettling, this lineage of beauty and danger. She turns to her small box of rouge, the carmine red as deep as spilled wine. She dips her thumb in, pressing it lightly to your cheeks. The rosy cheeks illusion, she murmurs, her voice as soft as the brush of her thumb. A little color to hide the sleepless nights. Her movements are slow, deliberate, almost reverent. A mainstream historical fact drifts through your mind. Carmine was made from crushed cochineal insects, their bright red pigment a symbol of luxury and excess, the color of wealth, of power. But there's a quieter fact, too. Some believed that red cheeks meant a healthy spirit, a heart still beating despite the weight of the world. A small, wry joke flickers in your thoughts, like a Renaissance TikTok beauty hack, except it's ground beetles instead of filter effects. You almost laugh, but the courtesan's steady touch holds you in place, grounding you in this quiet, flickering world. She dabs the rouge on your cheeks with careful precision, her eyes flicking up to meet yours every few seconds. Not too much, she says, though you both know the point isn't subtlety, it's seduction. The glow must look effortless, even if it's anything but. She moves to the hearth, stirring the coals with a long iron poker. The faint scent of burning rosemary drifts through the room, sharp and soothing all at once. We paint our faces, she says, her voice low and thoughtful, because it's the only power we have, the only coin we can spend. A quirky historical tidbit comes to mind. Some courtesans believed that a splash of red on the cheeks could protect against the evil eye, a bright sign to ward off envy and ill wishes. You wonder if she believes that too, or if it's just another story woven into the glow. She lifts a small glass vial, swirling the liquid inside. Rosewater, she says, to set the color, to hold the story in place. She sprinkles a few drops on a soft cloth and presses it to your skin, the coolness of it a welcome relief. The rosewater smells of summer gardens and fleeting promises. You watch the glow come alive in the mirror, the rouge on your cheeks blending with the faint shimmer of lead and pearl. It's a face that's both yours and not yours at all. A face that could walk through the palaces of Florence and leave 1,000 stories in its wake. The courtesan steps back, studying her work like a painter finishing a portrait. Perfect, she says finally, though there's a note of sadness in her voice. The glow doesn't last, but tonight it's yours. She brushes her fingers along your jaw, a fleeting touch that feels like both a blessing and a goodbye. The candlelight flickers lower, the scent of rosewater and crushed carmine filling the air. You close your eyes for a moment, letting the warmth of the fire and the soft weight of the rouge settle into your skin. In the quiet, you hear her humming again, the melody wrapping around you like the glow itself. For tonight, the glow is yours. Yours to wear, yours to wield, yours to carry into the shadows beyond the boudoir's door. The glow settles on your skin, a soft armor that catches every flicker of candlelight. The courtesan watches you from across the room, her lips curved in a half smile that speaks of 100 secrets she'll never tell. She crosses to the window, drawing the shutters just enough to let in the cool night breeze. It smells of stone and earth, a clean contrast to the thick perfume of rose and beeswax. She lifts a small vial from the table, a scent, sharp and sweet, like a memory trapped in glass. Jasmine and amber, she says softly, for the art of seduction. She tips a few drops onto her wrist, pressing it to her neck, her pulse a soft drumbeat beneath the skin. She holds it out to you, and you lean in, the scent wrapping around you like a velvet cloak. A mainstream historical fact flickers in your mind. Perfume was more than a luxury in Renaissance Italy. It was a language, a way to speak without words. Courtesans wore it like a weapon, each drop a carefully chosen note in a silent song of want and power. But there's a fringe tidbit too. Some believed that a dab of perfume at the pulse points could charm even the coldest heart, a small spell woven into the skin. She steps closer, her hands gentle as she lifts your wrist, dabbing a drop of jasmine behind your ear. The art of seduction, she says, her voice low, is in the small touches, the way a scent lingers in the dark, the brush of a fingertip on skin. You feel the warmth of her breath, the soft glide of her thumb against your pulse. The glow she's built on your skin becomes something more, a promise, a challenge. She smooths your hair back, her fingers deft as she tucks a stray strand behind your ear. They'll see you, she whispers, but they won't know you. Her eyes meet yours, bright and knowing. That's the power of the glow. The music of the night seems to echo around you, the rustle of silk, the soft creak of old wood, the faint hum of distant music drifting in from the street below. You're not just in the courtesan's boudoir. You're in the city's heartbeat, each scent and color and shadow part of a dance as old as desire itself. She lifts a small brush, swirling it through a pot of coal the color of midnight. For your eyes, she says, to make them linger. She traces the coal along your lash line, the brush tickling your skin. The black lines make your eyes look deeper, more dangerous, and she steps back, nodding once in approval. A small, sly smile tugs at your lips, like the world's oldest beauty filter, but with more risk and fewer disclaimers. The courtesan's eyes crinkle in amusement, as if she's heard the joke in your thoughts. They'll never see the lines, she murmurs, only the glow. She lifts the perfume vial again, pressing it to the hollow of your throat. The scent blooms, heady and thick, mingling with the rose oil still clinging to your skin. Dance, she says softly, like every breath is perfume. She hums a few bars of an old tune, her voice soft and teasing. A mainstream historical detail returns. Many courtesans were skilled dancers, their movements as carefully crafted as their painted faces. They knew how to weave scent and song and shadow into a performance that blurred the line between art and desire. You wonder how many nights she's danced this same dance, how many lovers caught in the perfume of her skin. She steps back, her hands at her sides, eyes bright with the glow of candlelight. "There," she says, "you're ready." Her voice is calm, but you hear the quiet pride underneath. Not just for tonight, for every night you want them to remember. The candles flicker low, the scent of jasmine and amber thick around you. You close your eyes for a moment, letting the glow settle into your bones. In the hush of the room, you feel the weight of centuries, the echo of every courtesan who has ever stood in this light, every secret whispered in the dark. For tonight, you're the courtesan's masterpiece, painted in powder and scent, wrapped in the glow of desire and danger. The room hushes as the final notes of her humming fade, leaving only the soft crackle of the brazier and the scent of jasmine hanging heavy in the air. She draws close, her hands moving to the edge of a low, wooden chest near the bed. With a quiet click, she lifts the lid, revealing layer upon layer of lace, so fine it looks like cobwebs woven from moonlight. "Beneath the lace veil," she says softly, lifting a piece of creamy white lace from the chest. The pattern is intricate, tiny flowers and curling vines, each loop and knot a testament to hours of careful labor. She drapes it over your shoulders, the cool touch of it sending a shiver up your spine. A mainstream historical fact flickers through your mind. Lace was the silent currency of power in Renaissance courts, a luxury that spoke in whispers of wealth and influence. A single strip of it could cost more than a peasant's yearly wage. But the courtesan's smile tells you there's more to it than status. It's a secret language written in threads. She steps behind you, her fingers deft as she ties the lace around your shoulders. "This veil," she says, "is not just for beauty. It's for mystery. It's for the questions they'll never dare to ask." She tugs the lace tight, her breath warm against the back of your neck. You feel your heart beat faster, the glow on your skin somehow brighter beneath the sheer weight of the veil. A quirky historical tidbit slides into your mind. Some believed that lace could catch the eyes of spirits, that the tiny holes were windows for whispers and dreams. You wonder if she believes that too, or if it's just another story she's learned to weave into the night. She moves to the front again, studying the way the lace falls against your skin. "It softens the light," she says, almost to herself. "Makes you look less like a woman and more like a vision." Her fingers brush a stray thread from your shoulder, lingering there as if to remind you that even the smallest touch can be a story. The candles flicker, the room awash in golden light and soft shadow. She lifts a strand of your hair, tucking it beneath the lace. "This is how they'll remember you," she whispers. "Not the lines of your face or the color of your lips. The glow, the lace, the way you seem to hover between this world and the next." You watch her in the mirror as she fusses with the lace, her face calm, her eyes bright with quiet purpose. She hums a tune you've heard before, something about love and loss and the fragile glow of candlelight. Her voice is soft, but it carries the weight of every courtesan who's ever walked this path, every woman who's ever used beauty as both weapon and shield. She steps back at last, her hands falling to her sides. "Perfect," she says, though her voice is tinged with something like sadness. "The lace veil hides everything, and nothing at all." She leans in close, her breath warm against your ear. "They'll see you, but they'll never know you. That's the magic." A final flick of her fingers, and the lace settles into place. It's delicate, but it feels like armor, a shield against the world outside these walls, a promise that tonight, at least, you're untouchable. The glow of the candles dances in the lace, each flicker of light catching in the tiny loops and knots. You breathe in deep, the scent of jasmine and rose oil settling into your lungs. The weight of the lace a quiet comfort. In the mirror, you see a vision, a woman caught in moonlight and mystery, her skin glowing, her eyes dark as secrets. The courtesan stands behind you, her eyes reflecting that same vision. For tonight, you're both part of the same story, woven together by lace and perfume and the soft weight of whispered promises. The courtesan's hands linger on the edge of the lace veil, her fingers lightly brushing your shoulders before slipping away. She moves to a small shelf, lined with tiny glass bottles, each stoppered with wax, each holding a promise as sweet as it is dangerous. She lifts one, the glass catching the candlelight like a captured star. "The midnight perfumer," she says softly, holding the bottle to the light. Inside, the liquid glows a deep amber, swirling slowly as she tilts it back and forth. She unstoppers it, and the scent that rises is like nothing you've ever known. Sharp, sweet, and dark all at once, like secrets whispered in the hush of midnight. She dabs a drop on her wrist, pressing it to your throat. "This," she murmurs, "is the scent of power. Rare, costly, and dangerous." She tips the bottle again, letting another drop glisten on her fingertip before tracing it along the hollow of your throat. A mainstream historical fact drifts through your thoughts. Renaissance Italy was home to some of the finest perfumers in Europe, artisans who blended exotic spices and rare flowers to create scents that could make or break a reputation. But the courtesan's perfume is something more than luxury. It's a weapon, a soft snare that binds as surely as velvet ropes. She lifts the bottle again, inhaling deeply. "This perfume was born in the dark," she says softly, eyes half-lidded. "Brought by caravans that crossed mountains and seas, traded in whispers and gold. Only the boldest wore it, because it clings to the skin and to memory." She smiles faintly, as if remembering some half-forgotten scandal. A quirky historical tidbit emerges. Some believed that the rarest perfumes were laced with hidden poisons, that a single drop could seal a fate as surely as a dagger's edge. You wonder if she believes in that, or if it's just another legend that clings to the courtesan's glow. She sets the bottle down carefully, her fingers lingering on the glass. "The scent," she says, "is what they'll remember when the glow fades. Long after the powders are washed away and the lace is hidden in a cedar chest." She steps closer, the perfume wrapping around you both like a veil you can't see but can't escape. She reaches for another vial, this one filled with something pale and floral, almost innocent by comparison. "Lavender," she says softly, "to soothe the skin, to soothe the soul." She sprinkles a few drops onto a clean cloth, wiping gently at the edge of your jaw. The scent of lavender rises, a soft balm against the sharper notes of the midnight perfume. Historians still argue whether the perfumers of Florence were more than just artisans, whether their knowledge of scent was also a knowledge of desire, of power, of secrets too delicate for daylight. You wonder how many courtesans trusted the perfumers more than the priests, how many confessions were whispered into vials of amber and rose. The courtesan lifts the cloth to your lips, the lavender scent mixing with the sticky sweetness of honey still clinging there. "A touch of softness," she murmurs, to remind you that even the glow has gentler notes. Her fingers linger at the corner of your mouth, a gentle pressure that speaks of promises and caution all at once. She steps back at last, studying you with the quiet pride of a perfumer admiring her final blend. "There," she says. "The midnight scent is yours now. Wear it well." Her voice is soft, but there's a firmness beneath it, a reminder that the glow is not just for beauty, but for survival. The candles burn lower, their light catching in the glass vials like stars caught in amber. You close your eyes for a moment, letting the scent of lavender and jasmine, of rose and hidden poisons wash over you. In the hush of the room, you feel the weight of centuries, the quiet power of a scent that lingers long after the glow has faded. You open your eyes to find her watching you, her gaze steady and calm. For tonight, the midnight perfume is yours, a secret you wear like a second skin, a glow that will outlast the night. The glow of the candles dances in the tiny vials on the shelf, their contents swirling like dreams trapped in glass. The courtesan brushes a lock of hair from your face, her fingers gentle and sure. "Now," she says softly, a touch for the breath, so every word is as sweet as the glow. She moves to a small wooden box, its surface worn smooth by decades of quiet devotion. She lifts the lid, revealing a jumble of candied violets, fennel seeds dusted with sugar, and tiny twists of honeyed anise. The scent that rises is soft and cloying, sweet as a summer's day. A mainstream historical fact settles into your thoughts. Sweet breath was a hallmark of beauty in the Renaissance, a sign of refinement and grace. Courtesans chewed on candied herbs and petals, each bite a promise of seduction hidden behind the faintest smile. She picks out a violet, its petals crystallized in sugar, and presses it to your lips. "Bite," she says softly. The crunch is delicate, the violet's perfume filling your mouth with sweetness and a faint floral tang. She smiles faintly, as if she shared a secret only you can taste. A quirky historical tidbit emerges. Some believed that sweet breath was a mark of divine favor, that those whose words smelled of flowers would be blessed in love and in intrigue. You wonder if she believes that, or if the sugared petals are just another layer of the glow's careful artifice. She lifts another morsel, a fennel seed dusted in sugar, its scent sharp and clean. "For clarity," she says, "for those moments when you must speak carefully." She presses it to your lips, her fingers brushing your cheek. The taste is bright, almost medicinal, cutting through the sweetness of the violet. She steps back, watching the shift in your expression as the flavors mix and mingle. "Every scent, every taste," she says softly, "is part of the glow. They'll remember the sweetness on your breath, even if they forget your words." Her voice is calm, but you hear the quiet pride beneath it, a testament to the power she spent a lifetime perfecting. The candles burn lower, their light flickering over the glass jars and the delicate curve of the lace veil draped across your shoulders. You feel the weight of the sweet breath, the faint shimmer of sugar on your lips, and the warm glow of honey still clinging to your skin. She leans in close, her breath warm as she whispers, "A courtesan's secrets are in every sigh, every soft word." Her eyes meet yours, bright and knowing. And now those secrets are yours too. You close your eyes for a moment, letting the sweetness settle in your mouth, the scents of rose and jasmine lingering in the air. The glow is no longer just on your skin. It's in every breath you take, every word you might whisper to the shadows waiting outside the boudoir door. She moves back to the window, the faint breeze stirring the lace at your shoulders. "This," she says softly, "is how you make them linger, how you turn every breath into a memory, She lifts the wooden box again, the sugar-dusted petals catching the last flicker of candlelight. A faint smile tugs at your lips, like a medieval breath mint, but laced with 1,000 years of whispered promises. You almost laugh, but the weight of the glow holds you still. The sweetness on your tongue, a quiet reminder of the courtesan's careful craft. In the hush of the room, you realize the glow is not just what they see. It's what they taste, what they breathe, what they'll remember long after the night has faded into dawn. The scent of sweet breath still lingers in the air, but the courtesan is already moving on. Her mind always a step ahead, her fingers already searching for the next ritual in her arsenal of glow and mystery. She moves to a small wooden table by the hearth, where bundles of herbs hang in the warm air, their shadows swaying gently with each breath of the evening breeze. She plucks a sprig of sage from the bunch, the leaves dusty and aromatic. "The herbal witchery," she murmurs, almost to herself, as she crushes the leaves between her fingers. The scent rises, earthy and green, sharper than the sweetness of rose and honey. She tosses the crumbled leaves into a small clay bowl, the faint crackle as they land a soft punctuation in the hush of the room. A mainstream historical fact stirs in your thoughts. Herbal remedies were a mainstay of Renaissance beauty and survival, an uneasy marriage of superstition and early science. Courtesans learned these secrets from mothers, from apothecaries, from whispered lore passed down through kitchens and bedchambers. But the truth? No one ever really knew how much was magic and how much was medicine. She sprinkles a pinch of rosemary into the bowl, her fingers deft as she works. "For memory," she says softly, "and for protection." A fringe tidbit drifts up. Some believed rosemary woven into a courtesan's hair would guard her from jealous spirits and wandering hands alike. You wonder if she believes that, or if the quiet ritual is more for her own comfort than any ancient superstition. She crushes a sprig of lavender next, the scent sweet and heady as it mingles with the sharper green of sage and rosemary. "The herbs," she says, "are more than potions. They're a promise, a touch of green magic in a world that wants to swallow us whole." She pours a small trickle of warm water into the bowl, stirring the crushed herbs into a fragrant paste. The steam rises, curling around your face in soft tendrils, each breath a quiet comfort. She lifts the bowl to your lips, and you breathe in deeply. The scent a balm, a hush of green in the crowded glow of rose and honey. Historians still argue whether these herbal pastes were truly effective, or if they were only another layer of ritual, a comfort to calm the mind, even if the body paid the price for the glow. You feel the weight of that debate in the air, but in this moment, the herbs feel like something close to truth. She dips her fingers into the paste, smoothing it gently across your forehead, your temples, the hollow of your throat. The touch is cool and comforting, a reminder that beneath the glow, there is still skin and bone and breath. "The glow is fleeting," she says softly, "but the herbs, they linger in your blood, in your dreams." She presses a final dab of the herbal paste beneath your jaw, the scent of lavender and rosemary wrapping around you like a second veil. "A shield," she murmurs. "A prayer." Her voice is almost lost in the crackle of the hearth, but the weight of her words settles into your bones. A quirky detail comes to mind. In some corners of Florence, women would weave tiny sachets of dried herbs to wear against their skin, tiny amulets of protection hidden beneath layers of velvet and lace. You wonder if this paste is something like that, a secret talisman against the world's sharp edges. She wipes her fingers on a linen cloth, her movements slow and deliberate. "There," she says, her voice soft but sure. "The glow is never just paint and powder. It's the scent of herbs, the hush of ancient songs, the weight of every woman who's ever stood in this light." The candles burn lower, the shadows growing softer around you. You close your eyes, the scent of sage and lavender sweet on your breath, the glow still shimmering on your skin. And in the quiet of the room, you feel the weight of history settle around you like the glow itself, soft, insistent, and as fleeting as a sigh. The herbal paste cools on your skin, a fleeting comfort in the flickering candlelight. The courtesan stands back, her eyes thoughtful as she studies the soft sheen of green and lavender along your temples. "A dangerous glow," she says, her voice low and almost sad. "That's what this is. Beautiful, but never safe." She moves to a small wooden box on the table, its hinges worn smooth by years of careful handling. She opens it with a soft creak, revealing tiny glass phials, each stoppered tight, each holding a different shimmer of liquid or dust. She lifts one, its contents pearly and bright as moonlight caught in water. "White lead," she says, a trace of bitterness in her smile, the heart of the glow. A mainstream historical fact drifts into your thoughts. White lead, Venetian ceruse, was the secret of every noblewoman's luminous skin, used to hide blemishes, to create an illusion of youth that was as deadly as it was beautiful. Historians still argue whether they knew the cost, the headaches, the trembling hands, the slow, creeping poison that ate at them from within. She dabs the paste on your cheek, the cool weight of it both soothing and sinister. "It covers everything," she murmurs, "but it takes something too." Her touch is soft, but her eyes are hard, as if she's daring you to forget that beauty can be a curse. A quirky tidbit slides into your mind. Some whispered that a courtesan's glow was paid for with the price of her health. Her skin turned to porcelain, her blood turned to poison. You swallow at the thought, the faint tang of lead and rose clinging to the back of your throat. She sets the phial down and reaches for a small brush, dusting a layer of crushed pearl over the white lead. "To make it look alive," she says softly. "Otherwise, it's just death in disguise." She smiles faintly, but there's a weariness in her eyes that tells you she's seen this too many times, watched too many girls trade their breath for a little more glow. The room is warm and close, the scent of rose and lavender battling the faint, metallic tang of lead. You close your eyes, feeling the weight of the powders on your skin, the soft hush of her breath as she leans close to blend it into something that almost looks like life. She steps back, her hands falling to her sides. "The glow," she says, her voice soft and far away, "is never free." She looks at you, really looks, as if she's trying to see past the powders and the perfume to the pulse beneath. But it's the only thing that keeps them coming back. She reaches for a cloth, wiping a smudge from your jaw, with a tenderness that feels almost like regret. "The glow isn't just a lie," she says. "It's a promise, a way to make them forget, just for a little while, what lies beneath." A mainstream historical fact flickers. Lead-based cosmetics were so prized that they became a status symbol, a mark of refinement in a world that worshipped the surface and forgot the price. The courtesan's quiet sigh seems to echo that truth, a whisper in the hush of the room. She lifts another phial, this one filled with rosewater, and sprinkles it lightly across your skin. To soothe the poison, she says softly, even if it's only a moment's relief. The scent of roses blooms around you, sweet and heavy, masking the faint ache of the lead beneath. She steps back at last, her hands falling to her sides. A dangerous glow, she says again, her voice almost lost in the hush of the candles. But for tonight, it's yours. Wear it well. You close your eyes, feeling the weight of the powders, the softness of the rosewater, the faint, bitter bite of the lead. In the quiet of the room, you understand the truth. The glow is both a promise and a price, a fleeting light that always, always comes with a shadow. The glow on your skin is soft as moonlight, delicate as a breath. The courtesan steps back to survey her work, her face calm, but her eyes bright with something that flickers between pride and sadness. She tilts her head, studying the way the powders catch the light, the faint shimmer of pearl and the deadly gleam of lead. Now, she says softly, let someone else see it. She reaches for a heavy velvet curtain that hangs across the far wall. With a flick of her wrist, she pulls it aside, revealing a small doorway that opens into a hidden chamber. The air beyond is cooler, the flicker of another candle casting long shadows across a low wooden table. A painter's table, cluttered with brushes and pots of pigment, sheets of parchment and half-finished sketches that catch the glow like fleeting dreams. You step through the doorway, the soft weight of the lace veil at your shoulders, the scent of rose and herbs clinging to your skin. The artist stands waiting, a young man with smudges of charcoal on his fingers and eyes that drink in every detail. His smile is gentle, the faintest curve of amusement as he studies the glow you wear like a second skin. A mainstream historical fact flickers in your thoughts. Artists of the Renaissance were obsessed with capturing the interplay of light and shadow. Chiaroscuro, they called it. The dance of brightness and darkness that turned a woman's face into a story. And tonight, you're the story he's waiting to tell. He lifts a brush, its tip loaded with pale pigment. Sit, he says softly, his voice as calm as the hush of the room. You sink onto the low stool, the weight of the glow and the softness of the lace veil settling around you like a sigh. He tilts your chin up, his eyes narrowed in concentration as he studies the soft curve of your cheek, the shimmer of pearl at your brow. Historians still argue whether these artists saw their sitters as women or as muses, whether they painted what they saw or what they dreamed. You feel the weight of that question in the hush of the chamber, the soft scratch of the brush against canvas as he begins to paint. A quirky tidbit comes to mind. Some believe that the artist's eye could see through the glow, that the paint was a kind of confession, each stroke a whisper of secrets, too delicate for words. You wonder if he sees the faint ache beneath the powders, the shimmer of danger in the glow. He leans back to study you, his brow furrowed in thought. The glow, he murmurs, almost to himself. It's like painting moonlight. His voice is soft, but you hear the quiet wonder in it, the way he sees not just the powders and the perfume, but the way you hold yourself, the way the light flickers across your skin. The courtesan stands at the doorway, her arms folded, watching with a faint smile. He'll capture it, she says softly. The glow, the story, it's what he does. Her voice is calm, but there's a note of something older beneath it, a quiet resignation, a knowledge that this glow will live longer in paint than it ever could on skin. The brush moves across the canvas, soft and sure. You sit still, your breath slow and measured, the scent of rosewater and lead and honey thick around you. In this moment, you feel suspended, part of the glow, part of the paint, part of the quiet story that will live long after the powders have washed away. The artist leans back, studying his work with a faint smile. "You look like you stepped out of a dream," he says softly. You almost laugh, but the weight of the glow holds you quiet. The hush of the room, a soft cradle around your thoughts. For tonight, the artist's eye is your confessor. The canvas, your silent witness. The glow lives not just on your skin, but in the lines of the paint, in the soft hush of the brush, in the quiet breath of a story that will outlast even the memory of your name. The glow clings to your skin like a second breath, soft and persistent, even as the artist sets his brush down with a small sigh. He leans back, studying the lines of your face, the soft shimmer of the powders, and the faint gleam of honey at the corner of your lips. "Beautiful," he says quietly, his voice threaded with something that might be wonder or melancholy. But the courtesan at the doorway only smiles, her head tilted just so. "Rival queens of glow," she murmurs, almost to herself. Her eyes are bright, the faintest edge of amusement in her smile. She crosses the room, the soft swish of silk and the faint scent of rose oil trailing behind her. There's always someone else, always another glow to chase. She moves to your side, her fingers light as she adjusts the lace veil at your shoulders. "Every courtesan has her secrets," she says softly. "Every glow is a little different, a little more dangerous." Her tone is calm, but you feel the weight of her words, a truth wrapped in the scent of jasmine and honey. A mainstream historical fact drifts through your mind. Florence was a city of rivalries, even in the realm of beauty. Each courtesan guarded her glow like a treasure, each recipe for rouge and perfume a secret as precious as gold. And behind every painted face was a quiet battle for whispers and favors, a dance of glances and silken sighs. She lifts a small glass vial from her sleeve, the liquid inside shimmering green and gold. "My own secret," she says softly, her smile both kind and challenging, a glow that no other can steal. She dabs a tiny drop at your wrist, the scent sharp and sweet, a perfume that seems to shift with every breath. A quirky detail emerges. Some believed that each courtesan had a signature scent, a secret formula known only to her and the midnight perfumer who blended it. To wear another's perfume was to steal her power, to risk her wrath in the quiet alleys where secrets were traded like coin. The courtesan brushes a faint dusting of pearl across your cheekbones, the shimmer catching the flicker of candlelight. "They'll all want to know," she murmurs. "What makes you glow like this? What price you paid?" She leans in close, her breath warm as she whispers, "Let them wonder. Let them chase." The artist watches you both, his eyes caught in the glow, the soft sheen of lead and pearl and honey that makes your skin look like moonlight itself. But he says nothing, his brush still in his hand, the canvas a half-finished promise. The courtesan's smile is small and secret. "They'll paint you in oils and whispers," she says softly, "but only you will know the weight of the glow." She steps back, her hands folded in front of her, her head tilted as she studies the shimmer of your skin. Historians still argue whether these rivalries were real or just another story, whether the glow was a gentle competition or a quiet war waged in the hush of boudoirs and the soft sighs of candlelit corridors. But tonight, it feels real enough. The weight of the courtesan's words settling into your bones like another layer of powder. The artist lifts his brush again, the faintest smile on his lips. "One last stroke," he says quietly. The brush touches the canvas with a soft hiss, a final line of light in the shadows. And in that moment, you feel the truth of it. The glow is never just yours. It's a story, a rumor, a rivalry that lives in every breath and every glance. The candles flicker, the scent of rose and lead and lavender hanging heavy in the air. You close your eyes, feeling the weight of the glow and the soft promise of the courtesan's words. For tonight, you're the queen of the glow. Untouchable, unforgettable. A vision that will linger long after the night has slipped away. The candles burn low, the last flickers of their flames catching in the delicate weave of the lace veil at your shoulders. The courtesan steps back, her smile soft and secret as she studies you. Her masterpiece, her rival, her reflection in the polished silver mirror. "The glow always fades," she says quietly, "but tonight, it's yours." She gathers the tiny glass jars one by one, slipping them back into the small wooden chest that smells of rose oil and centuries-old secrets. Each jar clicks softly into place, the sound almost like the hush of a whispered prayer. You watch her work, the quiet precision of her movements, a testament to the weight of every secret she's ever worn on her skin. A mainstream historical fact rises in your thoughts. Even the most luminous glow could not outlast the years. The beauty that once commanded sonnets and sighs would one day crumble to dust, leaving only the faintest trace in the yellowed pages of a diary or the soft sigh of an unfinished painting. But the glow? The glow would always be remembered. The courtesan moves to the small basin of warm water, dipping a linen cloth and wringing it out with careful hands. "We wash it away," she says softly, "because tomorrow the story begins again." She presses the damp cloth to your cheek, the warmth a gentle contrast to the cool weight of the powders and lead. A quirky historical tidbit flickers in your mind. Some believed that washing away the glow at the end of the night was a ritual of rebirth, a promise that no matter how dangerous the glow had been, the skin beneath was still yours. You close your eyes, letting the cloth move in slow circles, feeling the glow dissolve into the water drop by drop. The courtesan hums as she works, the melody old and sweet, like the echo of a memory you almost remember. "They'll forget the face," she says softly, "but never the glow, never the way it made them feel." Her voice is calm, almost soothing, a balm for the weight of the night. She wipes the last traces of powder from your jaw, her fingers lingering just a heartbeat too long. "There," she murmurs. "The glow is gone, but you're still here." Her smile is gentle, the faintest curve of her lips, a quiet promise that even this fragile beauty holds a strength that lingers. Historians still argue whether the glow was an art or a trap, whether it gave courtesans power or simply another chain. But in this quiet moment, you feel the weight of both truths, the soft echo of every woman who ever wore the glow like armor. She presses the cloth into your hands, her eyes steady on yours. "Keep it," she says, a reminder that the glow was yours, and that even the most fleeting beauty leaves an echo. Her voice is soft, but you feel the weight of her words settle into your bones. You glance at the polished silver mirror one last time, your skin bare now, flushed pink from the warmth of the cloth. The glow is gone, but the memory of it lingers in the hush of the room, in the soft scent of rose oil that still clings to the lace veil at your shoulders. The courtesan steps back, her hands folded, her smile calm. "The glow always fades," she says again, her voice a whisper against the crackle of the dying candles. "But the story? The story never does." You close your eyes, the last breath of rose and lavender soft against your skin, the hush of the room a lullaby that settles into your bones. In the quiet, you hear the echo of the glow, soft, insistent, and as fleeting as a sigh. The candles flicker lower still, the last breath of their light casting long, gentle shadows across the walls. The courtesan's room is hushed now, the lace veil a soft weight against your shoulders, the faint scent of rose and lavender weaving through the cool night air. You close your eyes and let the quiet settle in, a slow exhale that seems to smooth away the last edges of the glow. Your skin is warm and clean, the soft hush of the linen cloth still a memory on your cheek. The powders and potions have faded, but the weight of the night lingers, a sweet ache that hums in your bones. The courtesan's voice echoes in your thoughts, soft, patient, a reminder that every glow fades, but every story remains. The world beyond the boudoir feels far away, the hush of the room a small cocoon that holds you safe in its gentle glow. The lace veil at your shoulders feels almost like a promise. Fragile, yes, but strong enough to hold the memory of tonight. The soft scent of rosewater clings to your breath, each inhale a quiet prayer for peace. In the quiet, your thoughts slow, your eyelids heavy with the weight of every secret shared, every whisper of beauty and danger. You let yourself sink into that softness, the slow rhythm of the courtesan's humming, still alive in the hush of the room. Each breath feels like a lullaby, each exhale a gentle release. And as the last glow of candlelight softens into darkness, you feel the story settle around you, a quiet promise that in the world of whispered secrets and soft powder, there will always be another night, another glow, another breath. Sleep well, dream softly, and let the glow carry you into the quiet of the night. History doesn't just teach us about the past, it teaches us how to feel more deeply today.